The president has just released his new national security strategy, and it is way more MAGA than Pax Americana. Remember, this is America's foreign policy priorities for the world. One, it says the U.S. will no longer prop up the entire world like Atlas. Translation, the U.S. is no longer the world's policeman. Two, it says that regions, countries, U.S. allies must now take primary responsibility for their own security. Translation, pay attention, NATO and Japan and South Korea and other U.S. treaty allies. Three, it says the U.S. priorities now for Ukraine are one, ending the war in Ukraine expeditiously, fast, and reestablishing strategic stability with Russia. Translation, pay attention to Donald Trump's peace plan for Ukraine. Four, and this one's pretty amazing, it says that the reasons for the U.S. to focus on the Middle East will recede over time. I imagine that's a pretty big deal for Israel, Saudi Arabia, and others. The focus now in the region for the U.S. will be making business deals. Finally, it says that Europe must adopt America's immigration policy, greatly reduce immigration, or, in the words of the document, face civilizational erasure. Remarkable. This is a big deal and a big change.
Well, curiously, given the document's contents, which really are surprising in how directly they attack European allies, talking about the danger that European civilization, if the current trajectory continues, could disappear entirely, and calling for resistance on the European continent, really quite stark words that have met with a relatively muted response here in Europe. I think there's a reluctance really to provoke the anger of Washington. But what is interesting here is, first of all, that the contents of this document very much reflect what J.D. Vance had come and told Europeans face-to-face. You'll remember at the Munich Security Conference back at the start of the second President Trump term, warning them rather, that the far-right parties were being silenced, that the real danger facing Europe were things like migration and the fact that they was not listening closely enough to the popular support of those far-right governments. So this policy paper that very much follows that in a much more official way. And by the way, the other interesting thing here is that the last time Washington published such a policy paper was back under the Biden administration, and you couldn't have a different approach to Europe at the time. The explicit goal of the document had been to deepen our alliance with Europe. So that's how far things have come.
This will be the highest rated show that they've ever done. These are among the greatest artists, actors, and performers of their generation, the greatest that we've seen.
Which really are surprising in how directly they attack European allies, talking about the danger that European civilization, if the current trajectory continues, could disappear entirely.
大家好，我是主播周玉琴。很多的朋友告诉我们，太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌帮助了睡眠品质。有季节敏感、代谢困扰、关心异常细胞风险的好朋友呢，可以选择原版的太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌。它添加有超级食物羽衣甘蓝，健康再加分。而有睡眠困扰的朋友们，赶快选择蓝色包装这一款晚安加强版，绝对是更有感。每日克菲尔，时刻美好 ，Good Feel Good， 请上快点购为健康下单，而且要记得输入推荐代码，有额外的折扣优惠。
太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌基础版、晚安加强版，新包装改版，内容不变，抽取更方便。要吃就吃最好的。